Alright guys, so here's the review of the Pagani design PD1682 GMT. So this is actually the version 2 of this particular watch. I never tried out the version 1, but I've been trying out the version 2 for a while. Full disclosure, I wasn't sent the watch for free. I think I ended up paying about £40 to get 2 other ones along with this. But either way, you know the score. It's not going to change the way I do my reviews, going to keep it 100% honest all the time, no matter what. So if you're wondering what this is homaging, it's actually an homage of the Explorer 2. So as I say, they've changed a few bits up for this version 2. The question is, what have they changed? Is it going to make a difference between you wanting to get one now if you didn't want to get one before? Let's jump right in and find out. So here it is. I'm not going to show you the packaging because it's just the standard Pagani design packaging, but you do actually get a free NATO strap as well, which is a nice touch. And you've got the fully polished hardware there, nice stitching. I'm not sure if you can get different colours, you probably can. If you just contact them when you do place an order, if you do, just let them know, or at least ask. But I got this orange one. I've not really been wearing it because I'm not the biggest fan of NATO straps, but it is a nice bonus. And here is the actual watch. So I've got the white dial version, but they do also do it in black as well. And before we talk about this in any more detail, let's go over the dimensions. So starting with the diameter, we've got 42mm, then we've got a thickness of 12.7, lug width of 20. When it comes to the lug to lug, we've got 49.6, but we have actually got male end links on this. So the effective lug to lug or end link to end link measurement is bigger than that. That's coming in at 54.7. But don't worry, it does actually curve down pretty quickly, so it does wear better than that would suggest, as I will show you in a bit. So we got a stainless steel bezel on this, which is fixed. You've got that brushed top section, a little polished detail on the edge. And then when it comes to the case, you can see that has polished sides, so a bit of a fingerprint magnet there. Polished sides, brushed on the top of those lugs to match the brushing on the bracelet, which is fully brushed, including the sides. You've got screw links there as well. And then when it comes to the clasp, you've got Pagani design, branding, double pushers. You've also got 3 levels of micro adjust, and it is milled. Then I'll show you the case back. You can see we've got a display case back on this, with a custom rotor, the Pagani design branding on there. And then when it comes to the movement, it's the DG5833. So that's a GMT movement, obviously. I'll show you that in action in a bit. Then we've got some specs around the outside. Solid end links, which do fit nicely. No issues there. Nice and solid. One other thing we do have as well, we've actually got a Davis extension. It is only pressed, but it's there. I personally wouldn't have minded if it wasn't, but I guess some people might like that. We've also got a nice sign crown there, the semi-guarded crown as well. And you can see that Cyclops sticking up slightly there over the flat crystal. So let's quickly test out if it is sapphire, using the trusty diamond selector 2. So yep, we have got sapphire crystal. Let's test out that Cyclops. And that is actually sapphire as well, so that's good. Quickly test out the back. And now we've got mineral on the back, which isn't all that surprising to be honest. But it is nice that we've got sapphire on the front and on that Cyclops as well. So let's talk about some of the changes between this version 2 and the version 1. Most of which are on the dial. So to begin with, that Pagani design text just below the logo apparently is slightly smaller, so it's taken up a little bit less space. I'll probably try and pop up pictures of the version 1 so you can see the differences side by side, if I can find one. Then we've also got a difference with that GMT hand. The other one apparently was just a triangle, whereas this one has got that little needle section on the hand at the end. Another difference is the actual hands themselves. The minute and hour hand, they're both a little bit fatter, so they just look a little bit better in proportion, I think, compared to the version 1. But let me know, what do you think? Do you think it looks better now they've changed them? Are they changes for the better, or are they not really that noticeable to you? When it comes to the rest of the dial, we've got that Pagani design logo at the top, which is printed. GMT, automatic, water resistant, 10 bar, 100 metre. Little too much text at the bottom there for my liking. I don't think you need the automatic or the water resistance really. Just have the GMT and then the actual measurements. That's all you really need, I think. And then with that Cyclops at the 3 o'clock on the date window, that's working nicely aligned as well. And then when it comes to the indices, they're applied, and we've got Lume in them as well. So we'll be checking out the Lume in a bit. And we've got more surface area on those hands as well, to get a bit more Lume because they're a bit fatter. When it comes to the bezel, you can see those numbers are slightly inset, and then paint applied inside. So they're not just painted on. And let's talk about this movement. So this is another one of the changes, I think. I could be wrong with this one, but from what I understand, the version 1 just had a push-pull crown, whereas this one is a screw down. So if we unscrew it, pop it out once, move it one way, you can change the GMT. Do it the other way, you change the date. Pop it out again. You can see the second hand stopped, so we go hacking. So the movement in this is the DG5833. And then obviously change the time. Pop it back in, second hand re-engages. You got hand winding as well. All works well, no issues. And as I say, I think that screw down crown could be one of the other changes from the version 1. But if you've got the version 1, let me know down in the comments if I'm right about that. So now, let's check out what the Lume's like. So you can see we've got a bit there already, but let's charge it up, give it a proper chance. So initially it's looking pretty bright there. You can see we've got that ice blue kind of colour, similar to BGW9, but I don't actually think it is BGW9 on this. They don't actually specify, but if it is, they've not got that much on there. It's just a couple of layers if it is, but I think it is probably some other kind of Chinese equivalent. Because you'll see relatively quickly some of the indices will start to fade a bit, and maybe this is just me, but I think some of them do look slightly brighter than others when it comes to the indices. But let me know, is that just me, or are you seeing that too? The hands do appear slightly brighter than the indices, I think, and they do last ever so slightly longer as well, which is obviously what you want. If one's going to fade first, you definitely want those hands to hang around longer, which they do on this. But again, Pagani design and Lume, it's never the best. This is definitely one of the better ones I've seen from Pagani design, especially compared to the previous one I reviewed. It's definitely better than that, but it's still not great. They could still improve it a bit more. So all that's left to do now is show you what it's like on wrist, and then we'll wrap this up. So this is what it looks like on my 7-inch wrist. And as I said, with that end-link to end-link measurement being rather large, it does just about wear well enough on my wrist, I think, on my 7-inch wrist, because they curve down pretty quickly. If you've got a smaller than 7-inch wrist though, this one's probably not for you. I think I can just about pull it off on mine. Obviously if you're a bigger guy, it's not going to be an issue at all. So this could be the one for you. And overall, I think it's a pretty nice package. You got the screw links, you got decent clasp. Definitely prefer this to the other Pagani designs they used to have, because the actual micro adjuster is more accessible on this compared to some of the other versions they used to use. So definitely prefer that. The slight little tweaks they've made with those hands and that screw, well, I think screw down crown, and the reduced text on the Pagani design, I think they all add up to an overall positive. But let me know, what do you think? Do you think it's worth getting this one if you didn't go for the V1? Are these the changes you were waiting for? If so, link will be down in the description if you do want to pick one up. But that's it for this one, guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.